He says, I don't care. Welcome back in.
Works for me.
All right, so this is the 10:30 detention docket for the 3/23rd. Mr. Bordeaux, are you here?
Yes, sir.
All right. That's your father with you. Good. Fantastic.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Your
Mr. Bordeaux, this is a detention docket.
Your Honor, before we get started on this one, just to let you know, I attempted to do a UA on this young man, and he was unable to provide a sample, okay?
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me know. All right. So, Mr. Bordeaux, this is a detention docket. The purpose of this hearing is to make a decision whether to take you into custody or to leave you in the community. If I take you into custody, the law says you have to see a judge every 10 days to make that same decision. I want to let you know you have the right to remain silent, but if you give up that right, anything you say at a detention hearing cannot be used against you at any other type of court setting. Finally, you have a right to an attorney. If you or your family cannot afford an attorney, then I will provide one for you. My understanding is Mr. Williams has been retained.
I'm present, Your Honor.
Hey, good to see you again, Luke. You doing well?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, so Mr. Bordeaux, over this. Currently, you're on probation since June 1st of last year. Let's see. So they're saying, while you're on probation, you've continuously violated your safety plan. You've roamed the community unsupervised and was gone for 3 hours without anybody knowing for his whereabouts. He was on, Ms. Hicks, he's on the electronic monitor, correct? Ms. Hicks?
Muted.
Ms. Hicks, I think you're on mute. Okay, there we go.
He's
All right, Ms. Hicks. Ms. Hicks, I think somebody in the room has Zoom on because there's like a microphone feedback.
okay. He's been on probation since
All right, Ms. Hicks.
February.
Ms. Hicks,
I know.
I think there's
She's trying
something.
to turn it off. She's trying to turn it off.
Okay, thank you.
He's been on probation since February 3rd. He's had numerous violations. He's not on EM, and in treatment progress, his therapist says that he's not being accountable and he's still blaming the victim. So being in counseling for 6 months.
Okay, was it a contested adjudication hearing or was it a stipulation?
It was a plea agreement.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'm sorry to interrupt again. The
Yes.
current juvenile computer is messing up. It's saying connecting right now. So the juvenile is not on right this
Oh,
second.
he just dropped off. Okay, we'll wait for him.
Okay, let me go check on that. I'll be right back.
All right, if there's a problem, you may want to grab the laptop from Judge Porter's courtroom. I think we had problems with that computer last week. You're a co-host, aren't you? No, let me be a co-host and then Stephanie's not keeping up with the waiting
I don't know how
room.
to do it. What do I have to do?
So on the right column, you should have at the bottom you see participants.
Participants?
Yeah,
Yeah.
click on there. You see there. Yes. Okay. You see admit all.
Yes.
Okay. So you can just admit
You
the
want me to
message.
admit all?
Yes. I don't see her name.
Does that mean I have the
You can call
power?
Stephanie and say she's not logged in. I don't see her name. I'm sorry?
Does that mean I have the power to mute people?
Yes.
Each court staff.
Oh, okay. All right. The child's not back yet?
No, Joe's connecting.
Okay.
He must be doing a UA. Is it even safe?
run into work is hard. And then go back to work is hard. That's hard.
I think he's requesting to go to the front door.
I have to go right back door.
Can you see if you can fix that, the connection? In the small courtroom. Wait a minute, looks like they're trying to join that.
I click on them when I'm in. Is
Yeah, I just did.
that what you want me to do?
Yes.
I see him now.
Hey, Judge, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Sorry about that.
All right. Okay. There we go. Fantastic. All right. So, Ms. Hicks, you were saying that he's not an electronic monitor. And what were you saying about his counseling?
He's not. He's been in counseling for 6 months, Judge, and he's still not being fully accountable for his offense and still blaming the victim.
Okay.
That was what his therapist said in the administrative hearing on Thursday.
Okay.
But he has a lot, as you can read, he has a lot of community safety issues.
So I'm looking at this, and so, Mr. Bordeaux, I mean, I understand with you understand with your offense, there's a high level of supervision to protect the community. So what I'm seeing is, let's see, he went to the family roommate's room without permission, stole his computer, hid the computer for 2 days, using it for the internet. You left the house without permission to roam the community, saying you went to a concert in the community. Then you left another date without permission and roamed the community unsupervised. On another date, you left the house without permission to go to the basketball courts. And then this last week, stepmom found you picking her and dad's bedroom door locked, where all the electronics are being located. Repeatedly, you've said you understood the rules and consequences. All right. Yeah, I don't think you understand the consequences to this one, Josh. Here's the deal. The idea of probation, this is through a stipulation. So this idea of blaming the victim, you're the one that said and signed a piece of paper saying that you admitted that it was true that you committed the conduct that you're accused of, right? You owned up to it, and so that means you need to own up to it. Now the concern here is I don't think you understand how serious this is. Ms. Hicks, was this a determinate sentence or indeterminate?
Indeterminate, Judge.
Indeterminate, okay. So you understand, Josh, that you can go to TJJD for this, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You know what TJJD is, right?
Yes.
Okay. Prison for kids, right? And they would keep you there for as long as they felt like it was appropriate. So here's the thing you have to understand is if you don't follow the rules here, then you have to follow the rules in TJJD for them to let you out sometime before your 19th birthday. It could be, the day before your 19th birthday. It's just, you'll stay there as long as it takes for you to be rehabilitated. You also have to understand that if you're not really actively participating in counseling, then I have to take you and put you in TJJD where you have to participate in the counseling there or they won't let you out. Like the idea is either you're complying now in the community or as a last resort, you comply at a TJJD facility. And that's really up to you. But you have to understand one way or another, you're going to have to follow the rules, okay? So I think you're showing a large amount of disrespect for your parents. From what I can see, the fact that the parents are locking electronics in the bedroom tells me they're doing everything that they think they can do to help you. And you're just refusing to accept their supervision. So everything in life has consequences, Josh. And so at this point, what I'm looking at is I consider you a danger to the community, right? Because you're going in and out as you please. And I'm deeply concerned about this, especially given the type of offense you were here for. So I'm going to go ahead and detain you. And so we're going to go ahead and review this. I'll talk to Ms. Hicks in the future and figure out where to go from here. This was June of 19. Is that correct, Ms. Hicks? Is when his probation started?
February 2nd of this year.
So February 2nd of this year. So it's been about 4 months. Do you think we need to start a placement search? Or do you think we need to try one more time in the community?
I'm gonna defer it all to you, Judge.
I'm just looking for your advice. All right, let's follow up on this placement search. My idea, Josh, at this point is I'm going to detain you. What I want to do is I want to see if you can show me that you can follow the rules here. If you can follow all the rules here, then I'm open to give you another chance with your parents. Because at this point, from what I see, I really like your parents, and I think they're doing the best they can. You're just refusing to you're refusing to follow their guidance. Okay, so show me that you can behave in here. Get to level 1.0 and hold it for 3 days, and then I'll give you another chance with your parents and get you a chance to re-engage in everything you're supposed to do. After that, we're going to start looking at a long-term placement for you, right? A lockdown facility to really handle the needs that we need to, for your particular needs. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Dad, it's what I said. I mean it. It seems like you and Mom are doing the best you can. This is not your fault. He's 16 years old and he's making bad decisions. And bad decisions have bad consequences, right? The idea, Josh, is for you to start making good decisions so you have good consequences. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
We have Brian Carrera.
You're gonna walk the mug in, I'm gonna walk back to get coffee.
Of course, Ms. Hicks, did she leave already? Okay. Do you know who her supervisor is? Doug.
Jim Davidson.
Oh, Mr. Davidson, are you here? I know he's logged in, but. Oh, there we go.
Yes, sir.
All right. Can you ask Ms. Hiss? She already logged off, but since he's going to custody, can you go and make sure we get a UA from him?
Yes, sir. I will make sure that's done.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Mr. Carrera, I'm Judge Kim. This is a 10-day detention hearing. The reason why we're here is because I have to decide whether to keep you in custody for another 10 days. If I do, then you have to see a judge in 10 days to make a decision to keep you or to release you. You have the right to remain silent, but if you give up that right, anything you say at a detention hearing cannot be used against you at any other type of court setting. Finally, you have a right to an attorney. If you or your family cannot afford an attorney, I will provide one for you, as we have in this case. Mr. Adler has been appointed your attorney. All right, so your level 1 outstanding since June 20th. Man, that's fantastic. All right, so we're here on the aggravated robberies. We're at the convenience store. Right, the primary suspect reached their waistband, made a motion like he had a gun.
No.
Oh no, I told Mr. Davidson, but just to make sure we get a UA. Thank you. All right, so another witness said one of the suspects intentionally pointed a handgun at the victims and pulled the trigger, which did not fire. And that was later identified by video to be Brian. All right, Brian. So these have been approved for determinate sentencing. And we are set, well, it says July 6th. When are we set next?
July 16th, Your Honor.
July 16th, okay. Okay, all right, Brian. So, I mean, I'm fairly consistent about this one. Whenever kids use guns, that gives me the greatest concern. All right, I'm not comfortable releasing you because an actual weapon was used in the commission of an offense, allegedly. And so I'm gonna go ahead and detain you. We have court later this week in about 3 days, so we can go ahead. I'm glad you're level 1. That's not lost on me, okay? It's important to me. That has a lot to do with what's going to happen with your case. But for right now, with the case pending, these aggravated robbery charges really, really concern me, okay? I have to protect you and the community, all right? All right, thank you, Brian. Javion Douglas. Ms. Keenan, how are you?
I'm good, Judge. How are you this morning?
Very well. It's good to see you. All right, Mr. Douglas, this is a detention hearing. The law says when a child is brought to our detention facility, you have to see a judge within 2 business days and have to make a decision.
You're breaking up.
Oh, am I? Who couldn't hear me? Who could not hear me?
I believe that's the juvenile's parents.
Parent, okay. Mom, can you hear me?
I think it's that same computer, Your Honor.
I think so. I think her video is frozen.
Yeah, it's not working.
All right, can we get, we have that extra computer that's in the old CPS workroom?
Oh, there you go, I think.
Just in, Judge, it's Nolan's courtroom. Small one, just move it over there. Okay, we have one backup computer that's not being used. We're gonna go ahead and try and move that in there. Wait, Daniel's back. Hold on a second. When we move the laptop from Judge Porter's courtroom into there, it worked fine. So I think it's that one laptop.
Hey, Judge, are you there?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah, there's a message coming up saying that the internet connection's not suitable for, and then it goes away. So it's kind of going in and out.
Okay,
We can see you and hear now.
get that ready, because I think we'll probably have problems all morning with it. Okay, we'll try and go forward for now. We're gonna get the backup deployed. All right, so Mr. Douglas, so the law says when a child's brought to our detention facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to make a decision whether to keep you in custody or to release you. If I keep you in custody, the law says you have to see a judge every 10 days that you're here. I want to let you know you have the right to an attorney. If you or your family cannot afford an attorney, I will provide one for you. And then you have the right to remain silent. But if you give up that right, anything you say at a detention hearing cannot be used against you at any other type of court setting. All right, so Mr. Douglas, you are 16 years old and you have never been here at Kimbo before. All right, so on Friday, you were referred by Arlington Police. They're saying all our officers were dispatched to a suspicious persons call after somebody saw 3 teens riding around on bikes trying to open vehicles. One suspect, later identified as Javion, was seen in the area on a bike, but evaded when the officers tried to stop him. One officer called out what he thought was observed to be a handgun, either real or airsoft, on his person. Javion then abandoned his bike, ran into an area of tall grass and brush in an attempt to hide from the police. As the police were searching, Javion was located and taken into custody. Okay. Without further incident.
This is when I tested
Okay.
positive for THC.
Now, Javion was slow to comply, placed one hand in his right front jacket pocket, causing the officers to draw their pistols. At the time of the search, no weapon was found. However, Javion admitted he had a gun, his mother's pink and silver handgun, but he threw it in the woods when the police were pursuing him. They found the gun the next morning, confirmed to be a pink and silver 9mm with a loaded magazine. Javion was also found with a key ring, confirmed stolen from a vehicle in which the owner said, a bank bag containing $1,100 was also stolen. It does not appear the bag nor the other 2 suspects were located. All right, so I guess first question, Mom, you can hear me?
Mhm.
Okay, you own a pink and silver handgun?
Mhm.
Okay, so, and it's missing, I guess?
Yes.
All right, okay. So that actually makes me feel a lot better because I know where the gun comes from. He just probably cannot go to the street and just buy one right away. All right, so then, all right, Mom, he's 16 years old. You've done something right. This is his first time here at Kimbo, all right? So tell me what's going wrong. Like, why is he here now? Has he started hanging out with new people?
Well, we just moved here from New York in October.
Okay,
So, of course, he doesn't have any friends. And I think that he was just trying to fit in with the wrong people.
sure.
And it cost him a lot.
Okay. So did he have any interaction with the juvenile department in the state of New York?
My son has never been suspended from school.
Okay. Good grades?
They're okay. They can be a lot better. I expect a lot better from him, but he's going through that teenager stage where, you know, I'm not saying I'm having a lot of trouble from him, but you know, he's at that stage where he's starting to go this way, but I hope that this will make him realize that he made a big mistake, and I hope that he changes his behavior. I myself was a young mother. I had him at 16, so we've been through a lot. This move to Texas was to better our family, for us to be in a better situation. And I am very disappointed in my son. I'm actually embarrassed that he was stealing or whatever this situation was, because he does not need to do that. Anything my son needs or wants, I provide for him. So I am heartbroken over this whole situation. I hope he can come home. I hope that he takes this in heed and turns himself around and does the right thing. He's never been in trouble before.
Right. So, you know, you're saying Texas was a better opportunity, but Mom, you and I can agree the opportunity can be there, but it's up to young Mr. Douglas to take advantage of the opportunity. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, all right. Well, Mr. Douglas, I need you to understand that from this side, as a judge, my concern is when I see kids running around with guns, my concern is that at some point you've decided that it'd be okay to use the gun, right? And that's the way it looks, because if you're not going to use it, you wouldn't have it with you, right? And then that gives me concern because I now have kids that are shooting each other, and that's a big problem. That's probably my biggest thing. I love the fact that your mom has a gun and to protect herself and her family, but that's an adult decision to make, not a 16-year-old decision to make, okay? That's where I stand, and I will not change about that. Okay? So going forward, this is what I'm gonna do. I am inclined to release you. However, Mr. Douglas, I'm gonna ask you a question, and don't answer me yet. All right? The question I'm going to ask you is, if I give you a drug test, are you gonna be dirty or clean? Now, before you answer me, there are 3 ways this works out. You tell me that you're gonna be clean, we give you a test, you're clean, you go home with your mom right now, all right? The other option is you tell me that you're dirty, and then we'll give you a drug test to make sure to confirm everything. And I'm gonna make you stay here for a couple of days, prove that you can behave and follow the rules here, that I can release you to your mom, and that that basically you can just behave. If you can follow the rules here, that you can follow the rules at home. Now, here's the problem is if you tell me that you're clean, we test you and you're dirty, I'm probably gonna make you stay here for, I can get you to level 1-0, you gotta hold it for 3 days. So it ends up being about a week that you're here. And that way, that's just kind of a consequence of, because Mom, you don't give him permission to use street drugs, do you?
No, sir, I do
Okay.
not.
So that's the consequence of you breaking your mom's rules, that you knew better.
Your Honor,
Yes.
you did a drug test this morning.
Oh, so why did we give him a drug test this morning?
Because of the nature of the offense, and I wanted to, he said he thought he might be clean, so I was hoping it'd be clean to help him, but it was negative. He's positive marijuana.
It was positive. All right. All right. So here's the thing, Mr. Dawson. Like, we're not supposed to be giving drug tests unless they've had a contact before with our department. Okay?
I'm sorry, sir.
All right. So you may want to tell intake that, but I don't think, I mean, if they volunteer to, that's fine, but we don't have the right to make them take that drug test unless they've been here before. Okay. All right. So what was he dirty for?
THC.
THC. All right. So Mom, you know he's smoking pot?
All news to me.
Okay. Well, Ms. Kina, do you mind if I ask some questions about the weed? It's not about the offense.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. So how much weed do you smoke, Mr. Douglas?
The last time I smoked probably was like at least 2-3 weeks ago. I don't smoke like blunts. It was a
All right, Mr. Douglas. All right, this is the time that you need to shoot straight with me, okay? Because right now I make the decision either, because I'm asking these questions because I really want you to say this in front of your mom. That's the whole point of this. I want your mom to know what's going on in your life, okay? She has the duty and the responsibility as your parent to watch out for your welfare, okay? So I'm gonna hit rewind. We're gonna start over again, all right? You don't wanna lie to me. How much weed do you smoke?
Not often, but you could say at least like every other couple days or something like that.
Okay,
That's
you
awesome.
didn't answer my question. Just answer my question, okay? How much weed do you smoke?
A lot.
Okay, what's a lot?
Like a day? Now, I don't smoke every day.
Okay, how often do you smoke?
At least I say every 2-3 days.
Every 2-3 days. How much do you smoke every 2-3 days?
I only hit like 1 pen. And
Only
that-
a what?
in the time span, like I don't smoke blunts. I only hit a pen.
A pen. Okay, a vape pen. All right, so that's why your mom doesn't smell it. Mom, is this informative for you? Okay. I'm just trying to empower you, Mom, okay? He's not looking at a weed charge, all right? This is not high on my priority list. What is high on my priority list is to empower you, Mom, and to give you as much information as possible, okay?
Thank you.
All right, so that being said, where you get, whose vape pen is it?
Mine's. I got it from a friend then.
Okay. All right. So that friend's name?
He go to my school. I think his name is Jacob or something like that.
All right. Mom, you know a Jacob?
He doesn't know any of my friends. I just moved him.
Okay. All right. So at this point, all right, I'm glad you have this information. I'm glad you're being truthful with me. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and release it to your mom. Mom, this gives you some information. Now you maybe have more information on how to address the situation. Okay. So I'm going to put you on electronic monitor, Mr. Douglas, because I'm not okay with you riding around bicycles being seen or allegedly being seen breaking in cars. Okay.
Agree.
I do have to let you know that the way this case resolves, there's a very good chance you're going to be responsible for the money that was stolen. Okay. All right. Just let you know, there's something called the law of parties in Texas. That's when multiple people engage in a crime together. They're all separately and individually responsible of the same crime. That's why if like me and Miss Keenan decide to rob a bank together and I'm just the getaway driver, I'm still guilty of the robbery because I participated in the crime. Okay? So I just want to let you know that there is a chance that's going to happen. That's something that you may want to get a job or start saving money for, because that's realistically, that's an important part of this whole situation.
Is there proof that there was $1,100 in a bag? Or?
That's the thing. That is something to talk to Miss Keenan about. Now, Ms. Keenan and I have stood shoulder to shoulder as defense attorneys, and she can absolutely answer those questions for you. That has to be proven in court, okay? And Ms. Keenan can test that. I'm just saying if it is true that that money was taken, and if it is true that your son was part of this group that was breaking into cars, then that restitution is a possibility. But that all has to be proven, okay?
Understood.
All right, Ms. Keenan, thank you for letting me inquire. I don't think it put your client in any worse situation. So.
I don't either.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Leroy.
So what do I do now?
All right. On this one, Judge, Andy, is she on here?
Yes,
Okay, good.
I'm just checking. She's on.
Okay. So this is actually not a detention hearing, Your Honor. This was requested by me to for Andy and I to be able to get in front of you requesting regarding the GPS monitor. And I believe Jorge is standing in for Ms. Turner-Hill. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, so
There we go.
fill me in. So it's not a detention hearing. What are y'all looking for?
Correct. And I believe we have his mom, we have both of them on as well. My client, Mr. Leroy, has been on a GPS monitor for over a year. He's had absolutely no problems, according to Ms. Turner-Hill, and then Mr. Nava attested to that also in his offense report since the GPS monitor was placed on him. We are facing the ag robbery charges, so they are serious charges, but in light of him not having any violations whatsoever during this whole time period, I'm requesting that he be released off the GPS monitor for the remainder of while this is pending.
All right, Mom, talk to me. Tell me how J Moore has changed in the last year.
A lot.
But tell me, give me specifics. Tell me what's different about J Moore.
Well, Your Honor, if I may, they've gone through a whole lot. He actually lost his brother over this past year, and the family is going through a lot, but he has done really, really well.
Ms. Turner-Hill?
Sir, I'm coming from Mr. Hill.
Okay. When's the last time we give him a UA?
I believe since the last time he was in detention, Your Honor.
Okay. So this is what I'm gonna do. Get a hair follicle test, all right? If he's clean on the hair follicle test, we'll take off the EM. If he's dirty, then we keep it on. Fair enough, Ms. Perkins?
That's fair. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
And-
Ms. Ellison, I'll give you a phone call.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Okay, thanks, Mr. Nava.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you said I need to stay on?
No, y'all are free to go. And then Mr. Nava is going to call you. Okay, Johnny?
Okay.
Okay.
We have Vivian McCarver. You know what? Oh, shoot. Who's Ms. Turner, Health Supervisor?
Your Honor, that's David Ansley, but I'm sitting in for him.
Can you ask Mr. Ansley to pop in, either Zoom or in person, just about that previous child, about Mr. Perry? All right, I want to have a little discussion with Mr. Ansley about that, or Ms. Turner Hill, either one.
Ms. Turner Hill's on vacation. Mr. Ansley's working from home today.
All right, Mr. Nava, you're in the building. Pop by sometime. I want to have a follow-up about Mr. Perry.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Ms. Keenan, it's nothing bad. It's about implicit racial bias in hair follicle testing with African-American genetics. And so I don't want him to be unfairly testing positive just because of his race. Like, I have a problem with that. So I want to request a nail bed test if we can do it, because that takes away the chance of a false positive because of his genetics. All right. Fair enough, Ms. Perkins?
That is fair enough. Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Mr. McCarver, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The purpose of the hearing is to make a decision to keep you in custody or to release you. By keeping in custody, you have to see a judge every 10 business days. We'll let you know you have a right to an attorney. If you or your family cannot afford an attorney, I'll provide one for you. And if you have the right to remain silent, but if you give up that right, anything you say at a detention hearing cannot be used against you at any other type of court setting. All right, so Mr. McCarver, you're 14 years old.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. According to the report, Friday at 8 o'clock, 8:30, police were dispatched for domestic. The victim, your uncle, said that you were supposed to be cleaning. Instead, you were playing around, so he went to confront you and saw broken headphones that belonged to him. When he told Devion that he would need to pay for those, that he became angry and started breaking things. Your sister tried to calm you down and you struck her. There's no charge for that. Things escalated, resulting in Devion retrieving a knife and threatening to kill his uncle. Devion was apprehended and transported to our detention center. You were previously here when you were 11 years old for assault of a public servant. And then again, 2 months later, when you're 11 years old for assault of a public servant. All right, so are the parents here?
Yes,
All right, is this your son?
grandson.
Grandson, does he have an anger issue?
No, he really doesn't. No.
Because I'm seeing 2 assault public servants and now an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. So,
Yeah, that was back then when he wasn't on his medication.
all right, what happened on Friday? Was he on his medication on Friday?
Yes, he had his medication Friday.
All right, so now you see what my problem is. He's on his medication, and if it's true that he's pulling a knife on people,
I didn't see that part because I was out of it.
okay, so you weren't home at the time?
Sir?
You weren't at home at the time?
Yes, I was at home, but I was having a seizure at the time. So I didn't see him with the knife.
Ma'am, if you take off your mask, I'm having trouble understanding you.
Oh, okay, I'll take it.
That's all right, thank you.
Thank you. No, I'm saying I was having a seizure at the time all this was going on, so I didn't see him with the knife.
So
But
you were
I
having a
recovered.
seizure
Yeah,
while, okay. Does his uncle live with you?
yes.
What's their relationship like?
Oh, they had a good relationship. We all have a good relationship. That's why I don't understand what happened, where all this come from. And Diablo haven't had an outburst like that in about 3 years,
When's the last time he saw his doctor?
last month.
Okay, so in June?
Yes.
Did the doctor change the medication last time?
No, she didn't.
Do you feel safe if you went back home?
Sure, yes. Oh, me?
Yes. No, do you feel that your home is safe?
Yes.
If I release him to you, you don't think there's gonna be problems?
No, no problem.
You're confident on this one?
I'm confident.
Mr. McCarver, you can cause problems if I release you home?
No, sir.
Okay. You understand how you understand how this looks to me, right?
Sir.
You understand how when there's a knife involved, now I'm worried about protecting your uncle and anybody else in the house, right?
Yes, sir.
You understand how appearances a lot of times is more important than facts, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and release you. I'm gonna put you on what's called community-based detention. It's just a little kind of an outside voice. It's gonna be somebody from the community that works with our department. They'll have, right now with coronavirus, they'll get phone calls, they'll just touch base with you, see what your frustrations are. They may make some recommendations to me. At this point, yeah, I'm taking your grandmother's word at face value. She says she's not worried. All right, it seems like, but you gotta take your medication, okay?
Yes,
If you don't like your medication, you gotta see your doctor again. The reason why is because the doctor's writing this prescription, but as you're a growing young man, your brain is actually changing. So that prescription may not work because you have changed, not because the medication has changed, but you are actually changing, okay? So if you feel like that medication isn't working, you need to tell your grandma so she can get you back to the doctor and they can tweak the medication. It's not your fault. This is the hard part about dealing with medication for juveniles. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong if the medication's not working. I'm saying if it's not working and you don't tell your grandma, then you're doing something wrong. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get you out of here.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I know.
Cameron Newton. This is so nice compared to last week. We're all like, detain everyone.
Do we have his grandmother, Rosalind?
No, I don't have this.
I think Rosalind's still muted.
Okay, hello, Miss Smiley, you're on mute.
All right, thank you.
Do we have a family member here?
I was not able to get a hold of grandmom. I did email her the link this morning. I have not been able to get a hold of her this morning.
Okay. Okay, all right. So, Mr. Newton, we're here on a 10-day detention hearing. You've been here for 10 days, so I got to review your case. You still have the right to remain silent, but if you give up that right, anything you say at the detention hearing cannot be used against you at any other type of court setting. And you have a right to an attorney. Ms. Keenan has been appointed your attorney. I found that there's probable cause in the aggravated robbery. This was the home invasion while people were sleeping. 3 men busted in the house with guns. We gave you, that's right. This all started, you're 16 now. So it started when you were 12. Let's Since then, you've been here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 referrals to this department, including 1, 2, 3 events with weapons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 events that involve theft. And then you tested positive for, you didn't test positive for anything. Yeah, so, yeah, the burglary of a vehicle, theft of a car, burglary of a vehicle, robbery, aggravated robbery, unauthorized use of a vehicle, theft of a car, unauthorized use of a vehicle. And you're level 2. Ms. Smiley, why is he level 2? What did he do?
Well, Your Honor, there have been some issues back there with, well, 3 kids now. Friday, it was 2 kids. There were some allegations made, which I outlined in the offense report. And those were his issues with DNA. There was some peer conflict in the back with 3 residents.
Let's see.
Huh? Okay.
That's how they call it.
So does Mr. Newton have gang affiliations?
Well, Your Honor, he is a documented gang member with the Fort Worth Police Department. He is documented.
Right.
But he does deny gang affiliation, but he is documented.
Right.
For police department.
I mean, Judge, you know, as a prior defense attorney, that it's very easy to get documented by Fort Worth PD.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's as easy as, was it, if you sleep with dogs, you get fleas? It could just be the fleas, right? Okay. Yeah. So, Mr. Newton, here's the thing. I don't know what's actually happened there with Mr. Wright, Mr. Killingsworth, in detention. I don't know if it's true or not. And that's the source of your level 2. My bigger concern is you have this deep-rooted, consistent history of theft and guns. All right? That's what gives me the most heartache about this one. I'm just not convinced if I was to release you that you wouldn't be a danger to yourself or to others by committing new offenses. All right? So I'm going to go ahead and detain you. Samuel Richards. All right, Mr. Richards, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child is brought to our detention facility, you have to see a judge within 2 business days and have to make a decision whether to keep you in custody or to release you. If I keep you in custody, the law says you have to see a judge every 10 days after this. I want to let you know you have the right to an attorney, but if you or your family cannot afford an attorney, I'll provide one for you. And you have a right to remain silent. However, if you give up that right, anything you say at a detention hearing cannot be used against you at any other type of court setting. All right, so Mr. Richards, you're 16 years old. You've never had any interaction with this department. Let's see, Friday about 9 o'clock, police clocked a truck going 4130, tried to pull over the driver, turned onto a street, drove through a fence and kept on going. So the police called off the chase. At around 9:12, the same officer was dispatched to an accident involving the same truck. That's some karma, isn't it? The driver admitted to running from the officers earlier for not having a driver's license on him and already pending a ticket in teen court. Dad here?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, Dad, tell me about Samuel. How's he doing in school?
He does really well.
Okay. Truancy, absences, skipping school?
None.
What are his grades like?
A's and B's.
All right. Attitude problem at home with you and Mom?
No, it's just me. No, sir, not anything other than typical 16.
Right.
He does well. I mean, he does his chores and what have you. So,
He's respectful to you?
sir?
He's respectful to you?
Yes, sir.
And the reason why I'm asking is part of the problem is, running from the police in a vehicle shows a lack of respect for authority. Right? I just want to make sure that's not the underlying issue here between you and him.
Yeah, no, we've talked and of course, he's got this other ticket and I told him I would be selling his vehicle if he got another ticket. And he got scared and did something stupid for sure.
But he had a driver's license.
He does have a driver's license. He just misplaced his wallet.
Samuel, do you understand when the police pull you over and you don't have a license, if you just tell them your name, they can look up your driver's license and make sure you have one, and they have a picture to confirm you on their computer. And if you get a ticket for that, then you simply go to the courthouse and say, here, I actually had a license, I just didn't have it with me, and the ticket gets dismissed. Right? Like, it helps if you know your driver's license number by memory, but if you don't, the police can look that up. That's not a problem. Right? So this went from a automatic dismissal in Colleyville court to now a felony where you can go to prison for. Okay, you see how things escalated way out of control. But what I want to impress upon you, how important for you to understand, is the problem wasn't you didn't have a license. The problem was you decided that for some reason the law didn't matter, right? I mean, you see where it looks like from my point, my perspective, that's the decision that was made. That was the mistake, not the driving without the license. It's not necessarily just the driving off. It's I decided the law doesn't matter, right? Now, the reason why I'm saying this, because it's important for me to impress upon you, make sure you understand, when I say the law, that's not necessarily just what's in the code books, but I'm talking about something bigger than that. Like the law, like when you live in your dad's house, you have to follow his rules, okay? And that's just the way things are. When I was 16, I had to follow my folks' rules. I didn't like the rules. They weren't always the best rules. They weren't always the most fair rules, but they were the rules. Okay? And that's the situation you're in. Now, I anticipate, now I'm going to release you. Okay? I'm going to release you to your dad. You don't have any priors to this department. It looks like nobody got hurt. What I want to press upon you, though, is when I release you to your dad, I expect your dad to have his own decision of what the consequences from the situation is, right? And this is the time in life where you just have to man up and own it. You just have to own it, okay? I mean, there were decisions that were made. There looks like it wasn't very good decisions, but you're at this crossroad now where you have to understand that good decisions have consequences. Well, good decisions come from experience. Experience comes from bad decisions. Right? When you make a bad decision, you learn and grow from it. I will let you know that with your dad, I'm also a CPS judge here, right? And I'm going to let you know that kind of my rule of thumb is your dad has a legal responsibility to care for you. But when we say care, This is not, he does not have to provide all the things that you want. There's no PlayStation or Xbox or car or cell phone or smartphone or anything like that. He has to give you a roof over your head. Doesn't have to have air conditioning. He has to give you a set of clothes on your back. That's not 2 pairs of underwear. You have to have 1 set of clothes. And he has to give you 2,000 calories a day. That's not eating good. That's not eating takeout. That's a loaf of bread and bologna. As long as 2,000 calories a day, as a CPS judge, I will tell you he is not abusing you. Now that is the bare minimum he has. Everything else is a gift. That means like your own bedroom door, a bed to sleep in, a sheet, pillows. Man, that's all a gift, right? You understand? So everything else other than the bare minimum is something that you have to, in a way, kind of earn from him. He's providing more for you than the bare minimum. That's why you have to respect your dad more than the bare minimum. Does that make sense to you? All right. So that being said, when I release you today, you're going to have an uncomfortable conversation with your father because of all this. But if he decides you're selling the car, well, you know what? You're not entitled to a car. Does that make sense? And maybe you can rebuild this bridge and rebuild this relationship so that there's another point where he trusts you again to get you another truck. Okay? All right. Dad, you'll be involved in juvenile probation. Probably the case like this, you probably won't see me again, but good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Uche Uwaju.
And Your Honor, I believe that was my last hearing this morning. May I be excused?
Yes, stay
Thank
cool
you.
out there. It's like 106 today forecast.
I know, I'm heading to 396 next.
Okay, have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
All right. Uche, are you here? There we go. All right, I'm Judge Kim. This is a 10-day detention hearing. You've been here for 10 days. So I need to decide to keep you or to release you. If I keep you, then the law says you have to see a judge every 10 days after this. You have the right to remain silent, but if you give up that right, anything you say at a detention hearing cannot be used against you at any other type of court setting. Finally, you have a right to an attorney. If you or your family cannot afford an attorney, I will provide one for you. All right, so we had a DTA for you, that you ran away. Dad found you, had purchased a bus ticket, and then we filed a case for the credit card abuse. All right, so you're level 1 outstanding for about 2 weeks now. Good. All right, so Dad, you are still not inclined, you don't want her on medication, correct?
No.
Okay, that's, you know, that's the decision that parents have to make. I'm not going to interfere with that one. I respect that decision. Oh, this is the one where there were boys in the home, and when you came home, they got in a fight with you.
No, they tried to shoot me.
Yeah, that's right. All right, where is Mom in this picture?
Actually, Your Honor, you have Mom on the phone. I mean, she's actually attending the detention hearing as well.
Oh, she is? Which one is she?
Miss Osmoir.
I don't.
She has the red. Well, I just see a photo right there.
Okay, just the photo.
Oh,
Right here.
There she goes. There she goes.
All right, so Mom and Dad are no longer together. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I guess let's kind of get into the details. Why was she living with Dad, Mom?
She was not following the rules at home here.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tried to discipline her, her dad would keep encouraging her to misbehave.
Okay.
And so I told him, if you think you're going to be a better parent, then come get her, which he did. I came and got her, and she's been doing the same thing since she went there.
Okay. So what city do you live in, Mom?
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis, okay. And Dad, you live here locally. So, well, all right, so here's what I'm seeing, right? I see y'all's daughter, and she's a level 1-0 here. So that means she can follow the rules, all right? Has she, Mr. Howard, has she been on electronic monitor before?
No, no, sir.
Okay. So, hold on, I need to remove somebody because they can't behave on Zoom.
Your Honor,
Yes.
Uche is a flight risk again. At this point, she is still refusing to provide information to the authorities about the person that kept her while she ran away, the adult that kept her while she ran away. When she was found, she has bruises all over her body. There's evidence that she might have been trafficked, and she's protecting the people that did that. She's a flight risk, and she has to provide those information so that we know who kept her or what laws have been violated, at the very minimum.
Mom, what do you think about that? You agree?
I totally agree, yes.
Okay. Yeah, Uche, I agree. I agree with both your parents. They're right on this one. So
Nobody ever asked me. Nobody came to question me or anything.
all right, well, we'll find out. So somebody will come to question you and ask you. And then if we have all the information that makes your mom and dad comfortable, as well as our people comfortable, then I'm okay with the idea of releasing you. But I think that's a big step, is you need to comply with the rules. And part of this, if it seems like I am taking the sides of your parents against you, you are absolutely correct. And I kind of like your parents. The fact that they don't get along, that's not your fault. That's not my fault. It is what it is. Okay. Mm-hmm. But as far as your parents' idea of what's good for you, I'm going to be with them. So this is something that we may have to deal with for many, many years to come. We might have these conversations over and over. I have no problem bringing you back here to Kimbo. Okay. But what I would like to do is I would like to release you. And I would like to release you with the understanding that you are going to follow your parents' rules. If you can follow their rules, you stay out and you stay in the community at your dad's apartment, or mom, because you're out of state, it makes it difficult to release her to you because coming back to court. Okay. But if you're local, I would say your mom or your dad. But if you break the rules, you understand I can just keep you here. And to a certain degree, if you run away again, after I release you to your dad, it just makes me want to keep you here longer. It makes it harder for me to release you. Okay.
So there's no way that you could keep me here until my mom is able to get me, because
well, no, I'm not going to do that, because I mean I can, but I'm not going to, because if your mom comes and gets you, then she would take you back to Minnesota. That's where she lives.
I know
I'm not going to let you go to Minnesota while you have a case pending here. So I will not let you leave the state until your case is finished here. Okay. Yes, Mr. Howard.
Your Honor, also just to be noted, her court date is actually scheduled for tomorrow.
Okay. Well, I don't think all the questions will be answered before tomorrow anyways.
Right.
So I think there's going to be questions and more questions. I'm sure Ms. Marino will get involved with this one as well.
Understood.
Okay. So Dad, Mom, I love you both. I think y'all are great parents. Okay. I think the amount of love you have for your daughter is just, the cup is overflowing. I'm glad you're here. But as she's growing to a young woman, there are more and more decisions that she's making, and she has to understand she's the one controlling the narrative right now. Okay. The more she fights you two, the more she fights the system, the more painful this is going to become for her. Okay. All right. So Uche, I'm going to go ahead and detain you. Ms. Marino or somebody else will be coming in and asking questions fairly soon. All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a conversation with Karina about eating Guerrero? You talk. You don't just look into it further. Something about she's saying that you wanted a probable cause hearing on him.
That sounds familiar.
He has adult charges too.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
We can do it tomorrow.
Yeah,
right?
she may have to jog my memory.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, we just have so many kids in here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and let me know if you need
All right.
anything.
I'm not gonna sign the waiver because we're having tomorrow. All right, I think that concludes the detention hearing for today. Mr. Moore waived. I'm actually kind of stepping new policy. I'm not comfortable with children under 14 waiving, so we need to try and figure out. I'm actually probably gonna do 5-day detention hearings if they're under 14, just because, I mean, I really don't want under 14-year-olds here. So we're gonna see Mr. Moore tomorrow. All right, thanks everyone. Have a good day. Stay cool.